My name is Mark, and this is my climb up Mount Kinabalu in Malaysia. Standing at 4,095 meters, it's Southeast Asia's highest peak. The journey begins at Timpahan Gate and follows a steep trail through the rainforest rocks and thin air. I came here looking for a challenge, knowing this mountain would test my endurance, focus, and determination. With every step, the climb becomes harder and the conditions more demanding. This isn't just about reaching the summit. It's about pushing past my limits and earning every meter on the way up. This is my climb, my story, and Mount Kinabalu. In this video, I'm going to share a few secrets I found out during the climb. You'll find out what the best season for your climb is and why, how to make the climb easier and simpler, how to keep your energy at the top, and what is the program of the climb and how does it really go. You'll learn how to train and prepare, what gear you will need, and lastly, where to stay. By the end of this video, you'll have all the tips and tricks to conquer Mount Kinabalu like a pro. So wait, we start our climb by going down?
Yes, well, wait. We need to find a twist.
The first 100 meters actually go down because Timpahan Gate sits on a small ridge. To reach the real climbing trail, you have to drop down to Carson's waterfall first. After that, the climb begins for real. Today's plan. So first we move from the Timpahan Gate to the Candice Shelter. It's just below 1 kilometer of walking. And these shelters can serve multiple purposes, like protecting you from the rain, for example, and even eating. Next, we move to the Yuba shelter and then the Lowy shelter. So after the Lowy shelter, there is the Memping shelter. In total, there are about 7 shelters for the entire climb. And then after Memping shelter is Lang Lang hut, where we can eat and take our lunch. Next is the Velosa shelter and the Pakat cave shelter. They're not too far away from each other because the last part is the hardest. But finally, we reach the Laban Rata hut. There is where we stay for the night and prepare for tomorrow's ascent to Lowe's Peak. That's the entire schedule for today. The rest, I'll say tomorrow. Wow, look at all of this greenery around us. All of the different types of mosses and all of these types of trees and plants. Getting into Mount Kinabalu is way easier than you think. First, flying to Kota Kinabalu International Airport in Sabah in the country Malaysia. You can connect through major hubs like Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, or Seoul. Once you land, the mountain is only about 2 hours away. From the airport, you've got options: a pre-booked transfer, a taxi or a ride service, or a tour company that handles everything for you. All roads lead to Mount Kinabalu Park headquarters, the official starting point of the climb. This is where you check in, meet your guide, and begin the adventure. No jungle maze, no guesswork. Just one mountain, one road, and a climb you'll never forget. The challenge of Mount Kinabalu is the fast gain in altitude from sea level of Kota Kinabalu city, which is also the capital of Sabah, all the way up to the top of the majestic Kinabalu mountain, which is 4,095 meters above sea level. Due to this fast altitude change, most of the people feel sick and nauseous, so they use anti-sickness pills, but nobody knows what is in those pills. So I've prepared a plan to make your climb easier and for you to not need any sickness pills. So the first thing you have to do is take an extra night at the Sutra Sanctuary Lodges, down at 1,500 meters, which is also the park HQ. Here is a quick overview. So we enter the room, we have a quick bed, a bathroom, a balcony, and a little coffee and tea essential set. Now this is a pretty small room, mentioning you'll only take 1 or 2 nights in it. So after that, you have to go to the Panlaban base camp and stay there for another night. Now, getting to the Panlaban base camp also isn't easy, but after you do, you take an extra night there to give your legs a little rest and for you to acclimatize more to the fast altitude change. We barely surfaced 100 meters since the last one. Still have 2 more kilometers up to go.
Wait a minute!
Wow. It's been like maybe 20-30 minutes and we've only scaled another 130 meters. Imagine how far we still have to go to get to base camp, which is only like 3,600 meters. No wonder it takes people over 6 hours sometimes. Best ways to train and prepare for the climb. Now here are 5 exercises that I think serve the most purpose. So the tutorials on how to do them will be on screen. So number 1, we have lunges. Number 2, sit-ups. Number 3 is burpees. Number 4 is running. And number 5 is cycling. Now these 5 will help with leg strength, making it much easier for you to do your climb. Every checkpoint has something new. For example, this checkpoint has squirrels, and I even got to feed them. First, I was afraid. I put the nuts onto the ground and the squirrels slowly got used to it. They slowly took nuts one by one. And later, even off camera, every checkpoint I was waiting to see the squirrels again. I pushed through just for the squirrels. It was so fun to feed them. Sometimes I even let them onto my hand, or they were excited to eat all my nuts. Very tired. In the Malaysian South China Sea, the October to March are monsoon seasons and they are generally more rainy, so summer is more ideal. So it is more dry and you have a smaller chance to get into trouble like this. No good view and a really unpleasant descent. Another secret for a successful climb was energy bars and drinks. Here I recommend some chocolate bars, for example Snickers and Lion, and the 100 Plus drink, which by the way, I love this drink and I could not find it anywhere except Southeast Asia. And the reason is that it was made for the Asian Commonwealth Games. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that on the 100 ringgit banknote, it actually shows Lowe's Peak? So if you climb up to Mount Kinabalu Lowe's Peak and hold out a 100 ringgit banknote, you will see that the pictures will actually align. That's pretty cool, right? The view here is so beautiful, but it comes at a really big cost. If you're gonna try climb a mountain, then you have to regularly stop because the oxygen your body doesn't get enough of it. And you have to take regular stops to like breathe in, breathe out for like maybe 30 seconds and then continue. Here we are on the last kilometer, the hardest part. Let's go. Here are the most absolute essential things you need. Now do not climb if you don't have these. So first, hiking shoes or boots. Make sure they're waterproof and have good grip. That's just in case if rain kicks in, because in the tropics, the weather can change really quickly. You'll also need hiking pants, a warm hat or a beanie, gloves, extra socks. 2-3 pairs of thick hiking ones will do well because sometimes they can get wet in the rain. And just so your feet don't get cold, you can just wear another dry pair. Some gear and equipment. You'll need a bag that's 20 to 30 liters big, I think. You'll need a headlamp, mandatory for 2 a.m. summit climbs. So bring extra batteries because you'll be climbing there for about 4 hours with no sunlight. You'll definitely need your personal ID plus your climbing permit, which is issued to you at the park HQ. These items are highly recommended, and these items specifically make the climb easier, such as trekking poles, great for saving your knees on the descent, because if you don't use them, then your knees will get absolutely destroyed and they'll hurt for a week or even more. Next, earplugs. They help you sleep at the Laban Rata camp, because it can get really noisy. Trust me, it was not cool sleeping. You'll need different types of household items like toothbrushes, toothpaste, and even toilet paper with hand sanitizer, because they don't really have any of that on the climb. So sometimes you even go to the bathroom and the toilet paper ran out, so you have to use your own. Trust me, it will not be cool needing to ask someone to use their toilet paper. And here are some things you should not take with you 100%. Heavy coats, because they will just add more weight to you, which makes the climb harder. Layers are enough. You should avoid jeans or cotton clothing. If rain comes, then they'll stay wet and really heavy. Too much food. You shouldn't take too much food with you because they serve meals at the Laban Rata camp, which is the base camp. You shouldn't take big camera tripods because they're just too bulky for the climb. Another few hundred meters up, and we are standing in the cloud. And look at that massive cloud coming in from below and above. We are so lucky to get the mountain in such a beautiful weather. Because in the tropics, it changes very fast. Look, it changes as we speak.
Oh yeah, 5.5 kilometers out of 6. Just half a kilometer left. And we've gone, the current altitude above sea level is 3,137. We need to get to 3,637. Or lower a bit, but 3,600. Let's go.
It's the last 500 meters, and usually it's really hard.
Our peak is right there. It's really tiring.
We may have gotten to the Panalaban base camp, but we still have a lot ahead of us. That includes the actual climb to the Lowe's Peak, where now we have to wake up at 1 a.m. Is what you'll get for your accommodation. A room with multiple beds and multiple people sleeping with you. Now there is a way to get just you and maybe your family sleeping so others don't interrupt you. You could pay more and get a separate room for yourself. And this is the dining hall, where you'll have your dinner. But if you're staying for an extra night, it'll be your lunch and breakfast too. Today's plan gotta be really short, but when you actually do the climb, it's long. So we go from Laban Rata Hut to Sayat Sayat Hut, and from there, we move on to the summit Lowe's Peak. Now we are walking through the night as a night walk. Since we did wake up at 1, took breakfast, and started our journey at 2, we expect to get there by 6 a.m., which is in 4 hours. And I think 4 hours to go 2 kilometers isn't that bad of a journey. So we're gonna watch and see.
We got to 6.5 kilometers mark. The height here is 3,426 meters above sea level. The oxygen here is very hard to catch. Like, I tried breathing, but they're just not enough. It is what it is. Another hard part here is that you always get tired. It's not your legs. Your legs are totally fine. You have so little sleep, like maybe 2 hours. It's hard to sleep up here where the oxygen levels are low. Your heart is continuously pumping, which doesn't allow you to sleep. So maybe 2 hours of sleep you'll get. It's really hard. I barely got maybe 2.5 hours of sleep. And then right now it's maybe 2 a.m. Still climbing. The peak is in about 1.5, maybe 2 kilometers. We're so close. I just can't give up right now. Finally at 7 kilometers in the way. And it's getting so tiring and there's no oxygen and it's really cold. Everything is freezing. The oxygen is really needed. There were some really steep trails down there. I couldn't manage to film them because it was too steep. One slip and you're dead. But currently, 400 meters until we're there, like 400 meters above sea level. That's another 1.7 kilometers. Since Low's Peak is at 8.7 kilometers. Really needs a lot of work. Like, for example, the steep trail behind me. Yeah, see? If you slip right here, you're not making it out alive. Because down there, it's just the forest. So, let's go, I guess. Just reached 7.5 kilometers. That's 3,800 meters above sea level. It's cold. It's tiring. Up a very steep hill. Yeah. Just 1.2 kilometers left. Let's go. Fact is, up here in the mountains, you barely get any strength to even speak. Yeah. Let's go. It's getting so cold and freezing. It's 8 kilometers, 3,929 meters above sea level. Every step is so painful. It's getting harder by the minute. Cold. Just the last push. Last maybe 300 meters or 500 meters. And it's it.
I was so tired that I even refused to film the 8.5 kilometer mark.
Very tall. 100 meters is hell.
Matahari cuti buat nyari.
Last 100 meters is the toughest, yeah?
After I got to the top, I felt so good. I never felt this ever before. I got to the top, but how was I gonna get down? I was so tired, and getting down was gonna be the hardest challenge, even harder than getting up. So, while going down, I saw Side Hut had beds, and I rested there for about an hour. I fell asleep in like 2 seconds, and it felt like I just blinked, like the hour passed, and I had to continue going down. After going down from Side Hut back to Panalaban base camp, I slept there again for another few hours, and then only I started my journey down. My journey down was much easier, and I felt like it was a relief that I was finally done, and that I just had the biggest achievement of my life just come true right there in front of my eyes. I couldn't wait to come back home and tell all my parents, grandmothers, grandparents, and my sister how good it felt climbing to the top, and all the stories I had. So I think this is now going to be a wrap for today's video. So I just wanted to say good luck with your hiking, your climbing, and peace out.